welcome to Sensibly Cynical. My name is Sean, and with me is Frank Jag. What's going on, Frank?
What's up, man? We're doing the NFL preview today, right?
Yeah, 2018 NFL preview show. So basically what we're going to do, we're just going to get right into it. We're going to go from AFC to NFC. So we're going to talk about each individual team, what you think their ceiling is, and and everything. And then we're going to pick the division winners.
And then we're going to end it with Sean coming out of the closet.
And then we're going to pick all the playoff teams who we think is going to make the playoffs. Okay, we have the AFC East. We have the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, the Patriots, the Jets. Let's start with the Bills. They made the playoffs last year and lost to the Jags in a close one. What do you think about the Bills this year?
Yeah, they really fucked up that. They played a bad team and they couldn't make it work, and they got lucky with a bad team and they just couldn't beat them.
Yeah, well, apparently they keep Peterman. I thought they would get rid of him. But I think he's still there. I think he's still on the roster, isn't he?
Peterman actually, they were thinking might start, and then they thought about after McCarron went down. They were like, well, it's either Peterman or Josh Allen. Josh Allen is the starter now.
Yeah. That's right. And then Jalen Ramsey fucking roasted him on an interview.
Jalen Ramsey is an idiot.
Called him trash.
He's an idiot.
So apparently Josh Allen has played well. So that's good. So do you see them making the playoffs?
Absolutely.
Or you do?
I see them being a wild card team again.
Okay, I think they'll go.
Because the Patriots are gonna obviously win the division again.
I think they'll go 7-9 because I think that Josh Allen is gonna hit that rookie wall, and I just don't think that he's. He's from, I think he's from a small college or something like that. So I just don't think that when it comes down to it, he's gonna seal the deal as in make the playoffs. I think they fall just short.
I think they're gonna make the playoffs because they have a real shady guy at running back.
Okay, so the Bills are your
wild
card team.
6.
Okay, let's go.
6.
Okay.
And we got the Pats finishing obviously probably 14-2.
Well, right, but let's talk about the Miami Dolphins, who have Ryan Tannehill and Brock Osweiler at quarterback. They have both. I think Tannehill's the starter, obviously.
Tannehill's the starter. The guy's a good quarterback. He just can't seem to stay healthy.
Seems like they have a pretty solid roster, though. They brought in Amendola, Cameron Wake, of course. I think they drafted Kenyon Drake. Of course, Minka Fitzpatrick from Alabama.
Drake did well last year, and I think Drake's going to do well this year. Yeah. The problem is they keep giving away the receivers.
Yeah, I mean, I heard of Kenny Stills, but I mean, if he's their number one, or no, Amendola's their number one probably, but still, and they drafted Minka Fitzpatrick from Alabama. I think that was a good pick. And you got Alonzo at linebacker.
I mean, I don't know. They had good receivers and they got rid of
Frank Gore. They picked up Frank Gore?
Yeah, it's stupid. It was real stupid. But I mean, that Drake dude's money, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. I just don't know who they're gonna. I just don't think the receivers are gonna hold up through the year.
Okay, so I see them going like 5-11 or something.
The Finns are a good team. They're gonna go 8-8.
Okay. Oh, so you see them in the wild card hunt?
Yeah, but they're going to blow it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the New England Patriots.
I already did. I said they're going to go 14-2.
Okay. I just want to talk about them then. I think that Tom Brady, I think that he's not gonna do as good, I think, as previous seasons. I don't think he'll get hurt, but I just don't think they'll I think obviously they're going to win the division, but I don't see them winning the Super Bowl or anything this year.
Why do you say that?
I think there's too many good defenses in the AFC, and I think that Tom Brady, he's getting up there in age.
Yeah, but these good defenses don't always have good offenses.
I just don't see his statistics matching up to the last couple of years. So, but obviously I see them making the playoffs and winning the division. I just don't think they'll. They may make it to the AFC title game, but I don't see them going back to the Super Bowl. They may though,
I don't know.
That's just my opinion.
Right now, the best team in the whole conference is the Steelers. The Steelers just can't keep it together. Deep in the playoffs, it seems. All right, so
the Jets.
The Jets. That's a mess.
Yeah, I think we should just end it like that. They're a mess. How many Jets fans are actually going to listen to this?
They're trying. They'll probably get about 5-11, 6-10.
Of course, they drafted Darnold.
Darnold's going to be their starter.
Of course, they Bridgewater. Actually, no, Bridgewater. I think they said Bridgewater may start, Frank. I think that's like a legit battle. That was like a legit battle in camp.
I would like to see Bridgewater start, but
I heard that he may start. I heard he may start, actually.
I feel bad if he did, though, because, I mean, he's going to get his butt handed to him, you know.
And, you still got McCown in the on the roster. And then, of course, you could probably even do Wildcat with Pryor. But, and then, of course...
Pryor's a big receiver, so...
And got Robbie Anderson. Of course, he was their number one last year because they were depleted at receiver.
They just don't have enough.
Crowell.
They have
Bilal Powell. He was good for them last year.
They have good running backs. It's just...
I remember Bilal. He's the guy that against the Jaguars, he's the guy that had like that 70-yard run because we thought he was down. It pissed me off. So he's still there. And then I just don't, obviously I don't see them going pretty far. I see them maybe getting like 5 wins.
5 or 6. I mean, they're on their way up. They don't have enough to put it together.
Okay. So let's transition to the AFC West. Let's talk about the Broncos. Obviously, the Broncos, they have a lot of talent. Von Miller and Demaryius Thomas.
Who's going to throw the ball?
I would assume it's going to be Case Keenum.
Exactly. They're about 9-7, 8-18.
But then you also have Paxton Lynch, who's like up and down.
He sucks.
Chad Kelly, of course. Isn't he the nephew of Jim Kelly?
Yeah, and I think Chad Kelly is gonna eventually be the quarterback of the future for that team.
Really?
Even though he was when he got drafted, he was Mr. Irrelevant. I still think he's gonna be the quarterback of the future because he's got that arm. He's got the talent to be a good quarterback.
Yeah, he went to he went to
Ole Miss.
Yeah, he went to Ole Miss, but then it also says he was at Clemson. So I mean, I think he was at Clemson in the beginning of his career.
Well, yeah, he's had a lot of issues through his career.
And then he transferred to Ole Miss and everything. So he's got a lot of experience at big time college football.
Yeah,
so I could see that happening.
That doesn't help you in the NFL, unfortunately.
I could see that happening. Of course, Emmanuel Sanders. People forget about him. He's a pretty solid receiver. And they drafted that linebacker.
These receivers are doing well, but they're
out of Iowa. Didn't Jewell go to Iowa? So I mean,
these receivers are good, but they're getting old. They're getting old, and they can't hold up anymore.
Yeah. So what's your opinion on the Broncos? I see them in the wild card hunt.
8-8, 9-7.
I see them 8-8, and then I see them at 8-8. So we agree on some of this stuff. Let's go to the Chiefs. Of course, the Chiefs. They're transitioning at quarterback to Patrick Mahomes and second. Excuse me, Patrick Mahomes.
The thing of a guy that he can throw. The thing about a guy though that was the Big 12. Yeah, the Big 12, right?
Yeah, Texas Tech. Yeah.
Yeah, Big 12. They don't play defense in the Big 12.
Yeah, which is why let me talk about Mahomes for a second. This is the first guy in quite a while that, despite the label at Texas Tech that they're a spread offense and they pass a lot, most of those guys in recent memory have been let's just say labeled as just a system quarterback, so they haven't been drafted as high. But for some reason, NFL scouts, when they actually brought this guy in for combine and everything, they see them as more than just, they look through basically Texas Tech's offense for this guy. And they didn't for like the other quarterbacks. So there has to be a reason for that, and I think it's because he shows awareness in the pocket. He's fast. When it breaks down, he doesn't waver. Some of those other Texas Tech guys were just had two. They look right, they look left, and if they didn't see anything, then they would falter. But this kid actually has strong athletic ability, and I see him being there for a long time. Excuse me, I'm drinking root beer. So, but yeah, I see him in there for a long time, and I could see them having a pretty good, solid year.
I still think they're an 8-8, 9-7 team.
I think they make the playoffs. I think they go.
No, I don't think so.
I think they go 9-7, and I think they sneak in as a wild card team.
I think they fall at the end.
Okay, well, let's talk about the Chargers. Of course, Phillip Rivers in it seems like his 300th year or some shit.
You got 2003, so it's about 15.
No, I know. I was being sarcastic.
I
hope you sent understood the sarcasm there.
I don't know, man. I kind of think sometimes you think the things you say are true.
No, but seriously, Joey Bosa, when they had that contract, rookie year, he sat out for a while, and now he's locked in. He had a good year last year after that dispute. Of course, you got Melvin Gordon, Keenan Allen at receiver, Geno Smith's on their roster, and then of course Hunter Henry's an underrated tight end.
See, the thing about this team is they're good. They have all the talent in the world. They again are choke artists.
Yeah.
They start off 0-4 and then decide they want to play football. Again, they're a 9-7, 8-8 team.
I see them going. I see them having like a bad year. I think that Rivers shows his age here at the end, and I think that they go.
The team cannot stay healthy.
6-10. I think they falter at the end of the race.
6-10 is more than faltering at the end.
No, but I think that they. No, I think what I'm saying is I think most of their losses come at the end of the season.
No, they always falter.
Is what I'm saying.
But
all right, let's talk about the Raiders.
The division champions.
The Raiders.
The division champions this year.
Khalil Mack, Derek Carr, Marshawn Lynch. That's right. Because aren't they moving? And this is like one of their last years in Oakland. Where are they moving to?
Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's right. So Marshawn Lynch and of course Jordy Nelson's there now. They're pretty loaded at receiver. Cooper, Bryant, Switzer. He's kind of the underrated kind of Swiss Army knife, for lack of a better term. You could throw him, move him around, and of course, key at linebacker. But we'll see what happens with the Raiders. You got them winning the division. I mean, I do too, because I don't think I've team. Actually, didn't I say the Broncos were around too? I think it'll be between the Broncos and Raiders, but
I think the Raiders and the Chargers are going to be head and head most of the season, and the Chargers are going to.
This is scary. We're actually agreeing on most of this.
The Chargers are going to falter. Well, they're probably going to falter in the beginning, but I think those are going to be the top two teams in the division: the Chargers and the Raiders. And I think the Raiders are just going to be too much. And you got Chucky running the ship again.
yeah. Let's talk about. We can't. Man, what took us so long to talk about that? That's a big deal. I mean, now the league, for lack of a better term, is pussified. So how do you think he's going to adjust to the new helmet rule? Well, and you can't.
He's an offensive coach, so.
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm trying. You know what the fuck I'm trying to say is it's literally pussified to even where he was, with Gannon and everything.
He's still, an
offensive
coach.
You can barely do anything nowadays.
I don't think he's going to care enough.
What do you think he's going to think about the rules?
I mean, obviously he's not going to like it. Chucky loves old school football. I mean, look at when he was with the Bucks, that stellar defense. I mean, he's not going to like it.
You're right, though. He's an offensive coach, but my point is that the league is much more, pussified nowadays. But like I said, with that QB show,
I think I'm going to get that. I think I'm going to get that hat. That hat that says I think I'm going to get that hat that says "Make the NFL violent again."
Yeah. Sorry. That was funny. I've seen it too. One of the NFL players posted on Twitter. But no, thinking about it though, he may actually like it because, he had that QB show for ESPN, and now basically the QBs are untouchable in the pocket. So he may actually like it. He may actually, do a lot of different things with Carr. I know they had a relationship through that show, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he really liked Carr. He couldn't believe the throws he could make. So
yeah,
I think they're gonna do good.
I thought he was gonna have a gasm on that show.
Yeah, I think they're gonna go 12-4.
Yeah. Oh really? I see them at 10. I see them in a battle with the Broncos. I see them at 10-6, and
I think they're gonna pull away.
Okay, so let's talk about the Ravens, who just had Ray Lewis going to the Hall of Fame. How about, what do you think about the Ravens this year?
I think Joe Flacco sucks.
Flacco, Lamar Jackson's gonna battle him for that spot. That'll be interesting. And of course you got Griffin. If they even keep three quarterbacks, this could be the rare. A lot of NFL teams don't keep three quarterbacks, because there's 52 men, and you got a lot of things going on, but this may be a rare case where I think they keep three on the roster. What do you think?
I think this is going to be an interesting season for them. I think they're going to get about halfway through their season and realize what everyone else in the NFL has realized is Joe Flacco sucks. and they're gonna bench Joe Flacco, start with another quarterback. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be ugly process. They're probably gonna go about 7-9, 8-8.
My question will be is, how Suggs has been around for like 15 years. How's he gonna handle the new helmet rule?
He's gonna get fined a lot.
And that's gonna be interesting.
That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna get fined a lot.
And of course you got Weddle at safety, Rashad Perriman at receiver, Tucker.
They have John Brown too.
Hurst, Brown, Crabtree, Mosley's the other linebacker.
They have good receivers, which is going to be even worse when they.
Of course, Jimmy Smith at corner. He seems like to be around for a while, but he's a solid player. So we'll see what happens.
It's going to be weird, awkward when they realize Joe Flacco sucks. They're going to go with a new quarterback, and it's going to get ugly.
Lamar Jackson just came out. I don't know if you saw this, Frank, but Lamar Jackson just came out and said he doesn't feel like he's performed at a high level yet. And even, I hope that this, that's the case when. You're only in the preseason. You don't want to show all your, You
do. You want to show everything when you're a rookie
but don't you want to keep something away from the opponents?
Not when you're a rookie quarterback. You want to prove to the coaches you can play.
So does that comment kind of alarm you when he said that?
No. Because everyone knows Lamar Jackson is the truth. He is the most talented player in the NFL.
So you think it's smart though that he hasn't performed?
I don't think it matters.
Or do you think he's not willing? You think he's not doing that on purpose? I think
he's just trying to learn the fucking NFL.
Okay.
In the system.
But you don't think he's underperforming in camp and
No, why would you do that? That doesn't even make sense.
I don't know, man. I'm just
smoke your breakfast. That doesn't even make sense.
I'm just perplexed.
No, he's trying to learn the whole system and what he's doing. That's what he's trying to do.
Okay. Well, let's get to the Bungles, who seem to choke every year for the last decade in the playoffs. How do you think they're gonna be this? How do you think they're gonna be this year?
I think they're gonna falter again. I think their coach is probably gonna get fired at this point. And they're a middle of the pack team.
Yeah, well, that's the team that let Josh Allen go all over them in the preseason. So, their defense looked kind of shady in the preseason. So that's kind of an alarming turn of events.
A lot of their good players are getting old. Their offense is still good, but
their defense is, like I said, kind of weak.
Andy Dalton, he's been in a slump lately, so for this team to be good, Andy Dalton's got to be good.
And AJ Green makes me feel old because I remember when he was in high school, he was on one of those ESPN showcase, and now he's like a veteran in the league. So we got AJ Green, Eifert at tight end, Burfict, who's a nutcase. Oh, he's really gonna hate the new helmet roll. Holy shit!
He's probably just gonna have to retire. But
John Ross, Bernard at running back, he's still in the league. That Boehringer guy out of Germany. Mixon, Flowers. That's funny. My brother went to USF, and USF's he's Quentin Flowers. Real quick on Quentin Flowers, he's like he broke like USF's South Florida's records in like almost every category, and I just find it humorous that they actually have them. On Google, they actually have him listed as a running back because he's kind of a short quarterback. So I find that kind of humorous. But they got him. Matt Barkley's on their team.
Yeah.
Of course, Atkins at tackle and Driscoll. Jeez, how many quarterbacks do they got?
So the thing of the matter is, it all depends how Andy Dalton performs. This team is gonna success or failure is on how Andy Dalton performs. He's had a slump the last few years.
Was he called the Red Rifle or something like that?
Yeah, but I'm gonna have him an 8-8 team until Andy Dalton proves. He can play. He can.
I think they go 9-7. I think that Andy Dalton, unlike the quarterbacks I've said earlier in the podcast, I think his experience and I think that'll carry them. I think that'll carry them through to the playoffs. So they're actually a playoff team in my estimation. Let's talk that now. Let's get to the team that's being highlighted on HBO's Hard Knocks, the Cleveland Browns. They just got Gordon signed up, and they just had. I don't know if you know this, Frank, but they just brought Des Bryant in for an interview. We'll see if they get that settled. Of course, Baker Mayfield, who's looked good in camp. I saw a couple episodes, Frank, of that Hard Knocks. He's looked really solid. Came in there, starting to lead the team, and of course Landry's looking really nice. I don't think I've ever seen Landry look this good, like in camp before. Like he's really come on strong, like in his like prime of his career.
He's a very good receiver. He's always been a good receiver.
Yeah, but I mean, but what I'm saying is, I've seen he's taken it to like the net, like an elite. I don't think he's ever been elite.
I don't know. He's pretty good.
No, but you know what I'm trying to say, asshole. I mean, like top like 2 or 3 in the league.
He was pretty good close to last year.
Okay, well, you know what the fuck I'm trying to say.
And it's wrong. But no, looking at this team, we got Tyrod Taylor, we got Josh Gordon, we got Jarvis Landry.
They brought in Chubb.
You know, if they get Des Bryant signed, I mean, can you imagine that scary offense?
Peppers. They got Peppers at
they got
safety.
Nick Chubb, and they got the running back from San Francisco.
Myles Garrett, number 1 pick.
Yeah, they got Myles Garrett on defense. I mean, they got that cornerback out of the Packers. I mean, this team is really, they should be a playoff team. They're looking at 10-6. They're gonna be a playoff team, I think, if they get it together.
I think, dude, you do realize that they were like winless, right?
Doesn't matter. It's pretty much a new team. It is literally a new team.
Okay, I see them going 6-10. I see them, you know, as a Jaguar fan, I've been accustomed to teams that we thought were good and faltered because I think you have to learn. Hold on. I think you have to learn how to win. Is my point. You let me fucking finish. I think there's a. You have to learn how to win, and I think that
Tyrod Taylor doesn't know how to win. Jarvis Landry doesn't know how to win.
As a team, asshole. You just said this is a new team. So what I'm trying to say is, as a team, I think they find a way to lose a couple games. That they have the lead, and I think that they'll fall apart.
They've been doing that. I think this puts them over the hump in those 4 or 5 games.
I disagree.
Went overtime last year, I think they win.
I disagree.
That's good. When you disagree with me, I feel very confident in my answers.
Let's go to the Steelers, who got their ass kicked by the Jags. So, what do you think about the Steelers this year?
They lost by one touchdown and they got their ass kicked.
They got Big Ben and Le'Veon Bell, Brown. What's the saying? Same song, different dance, or something like that. Anyways,
so they had Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, probably at least 2 out of the 3 best in that position in the NFL. This team has got to go 13-3, 14-2. They win the division.
Dobbs.
They win the division because on paper they're the best team in the league.
Connor.
They're the best team in the NFL on paper.
Yeah.
They're gonna win their division probably 13-3, 14-2.
They got a solid tackle. Villanueva. So we'll see. He's been around for a while, so we'll see what happens. I think, like I said, I think they'll go. Like 11-5. I think they'll win. I think they're my division winner.
Obviously.
So, well, no, them or the Ravens.
The Steelers are going to win the division.
Probably.
They're the most talented roster in the NFL.
All right, well, let's go to my favorite division, the home of the 2017 AFC South champions.
Do you ever watch that
the
shit?
Jaguars.
Because every time I see you, you're wearing that shirt.
I had to wear the shirt.
You're wearing that shirt every time I see you. I don't think you wash it.
Okay, well, let's talk about Houston first and foremost. Watson's going to be back. And
Watson?
He was ridiculous before he got hurt.
He's a freak. That defense is amazing. DeAndre Hopkins is good when someone can throw to him. And honestly, Lamar Miller's the running back, but it doesn't matter who the running back is because with all that talent on defense and all that talent at quarterback and all that talent at receiver, you could be running back for the Houston Texans.
I don't know about that.
This team is going to win the division.
I am 5-5. I don't know.
This team is going to win the division. It's not going to be close. They're probably a 12-4 team.
No, easy. I see them going 8-8, being in the wild card hunt.
You got J.J. Watt. I mean, come on.
They're gonna lose to Jacksonville.
Tyrann Mathieu. Come on, Jadeveon Clowney. I mean,
Matthew. Yeah, like you said, Matthew Fuller. Whedon even is on the team. Webb.
This defense is sick.
Merciless at linebacker.
This quarterback.
You can play the Wildcat with Miller.
Before this quarterback got hurt last year, he got 19 touchdowns in 1 month.
It was kind of ridiculous because he kind of, like I was saying, he kind of fits the new rules in the NFL.
He's unstoppable.
He's kind of the new rules with the NFL kind of suits his style of play. But I still think that they lose to Jacksonville twice. I think Tennessee upsets them. But I still think they make the playoffs.
12-4 12-4, I think, is a kind of conservative with this team.
All right, let's talk about the Colts, the one-time dominators of the division. I think they come in last. I just don't think that they, as much as Andrew Luck is in his, well, I guess he's in his prime. What do you think? He's not there yet? I think he's there. He's in his prime. T.Y. Hilton
just came off 2 years being hurt. What do you think he is? He's gonna be hurting.
Hilton, and you got Malik Hooker at safety, Vinatieri, and it seems like it's like 20th year at kicker. So we'll see what happens. Kane at receiver.
This team is this offense is okay, but they don't they got to block for their.
I mean, who the hell is Deion Kane? That should say it all. No offense to him, but
they have to block for this guy. Do they? Who knows? But Andrew Luck's a talent. If he can keep his jersey clean, I say this team's an 8-8 team.
No, I see them 6-10.
They're an 8-8 team.
Yeah, if
Andrew Luck stands up and keeps his jersey clean, I think they're an 8-8 team because Andrew Luck is just a good quarterback. That's all there is to it.
All right, well let's go to my favorite team, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I could do a whole podcast on them. So do you want me to go first, or do you want me to go after you talk about them? Because I could talk about them for 10 minutes.
Can I talk? Okay. Their defense is okay, but their defense, obviously, they played a weak schedule last year. They went 10-6 on a weak schedule. That doesn't. I mean, the schedule should go 12-4, 13-3, and they went 10-6. This year they're going to be playing a better first place schedule. I think they're going to start off 0-3. Their defense is good, but the defense caught people off guard because people weren't used to the Jags being good, so it caught them off guard. It's like when you see like a real skinny guy and you're like, oh, I could beat this guy up, and then he knocks you in the chin and you don't realize it, and like, oh shit, I just lost the fight. It's not going to happen again. So this defense isn't going to be as good as they were last year because
you're just saying all this shit because they're my favorite team of all time. You just said that off radio. You said that you actually like them, but you say all this shit because it'll piss me off and that I like them.
Do you say this shit in your head? Because I've never said any of that.
Yeah, you have.
I didn't. I really think you're crazy.
You said that. You said that. I like them, so you're just.
I said I dislike them because you're always talking about them, but I never said they were that great. Now Leonard Fournette is great. That running game is good, but the only time Blake Bortles showed any promise last year was when they were playing bad teams. Mm-hmm. When they played good teams, Blake Bortles doesn't throw the ball very well. So most teams are going to just put 8 in the box, stop Fournette, and make Blake Bortles lose the game. And that's the thing. Blake Bortles is what stops this team from being elite.
All right,
Blake Bortles...
He got a new contract.
He can't carry this team.
So maybe that'll entice him. Okay, so is it my turn? Okay. I think that we go 11-5. I think we win the division. I think what happens.
I went over the schedule with you.
Let me talk. I let you talk. Can I at least talk about my favorite team?
They're gonna go 8-8.
I'm gonna let you have your time with the Giants. So let's talk about Jacksonville for a while. They have Blake Bortles at quarterback, who just got a new 50-something $1 million contract. You got Jalen Ramsey. You got Malik Jackson, Yannick Ngakoue, Calais Campbell. I mean, who's gonna fucking stop these guys? What offense, aside from the Patriots, are guaranteed to have a good game against the Jags?
So, Tennessee beat them twice last year.
They're gonna beat the Titans. They're gonna sweep the Texans, and I just see them winning the division. I mean, Fowler is coming back. Sometimes he's been a off field ruckus cancer. I think Fowler's getting straight by Campbell. And I just think that, I haven't even mentioned the linebacking core. I mean, you got Miles Jack, Telvin Smith. I mean, Telvin Smith, he's all pro. And people don't even talk about him until like the fifth guy.
What have we learned by watching this team? The Titans beat them twice last year. Why did they beat them? Because this team is calling themselves Saxonville. They can get off the quarterback on defensive line. Their secondary is they have an elite secondary.
Yeah, so Boye. I haven't even mentioned Boye.
But what is it? Run the ball against this team, and you win the game.
We have a solid defensive tackle. Darius and
honestly, you don't even need your starting quarterback.
Malik Jackson, what's he play? Malik Jackson, defensive tackle. Like, what are you even talking about? They're loaded in every position.
People run the ball against them successfully.
I think
Put in
you're
your
just.
backup
I think
quarterback.
you're
Don't
just
even
saying
throw
all
the
this.
ball and hand the ball
I think
off.
Bortles is underrated. He's got a nice arm. And
Yeah, against bad teams.
And he can run.
Against bad teams.
He single-handedly took them over the Bills, and And
they won by a touchdown.
Yeah, but he ran. Is my point.
Down.
My point is, if you look at the stats, he had over 100 yards rushing.
He can run the ball. I'm not saying he can't run the ball, but I'm saying he's
not a
quarterback that can win you a game.
All right, well, let's just move on before we talk about these guys for like an hour. All right, let's go to Tennessee. What do you think about Tennessee?
I think they're
Mariota and Henry and Lawan at tackle.
Yeah, but they also got Lewis at running back with Henry. I mean, that's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
The thing about
Butler, they brought in Butler, Malcolm Butler.
The Titans are probably going to be a 6-10 team, 7-9 team. The only reason I say that is because I never know what Marcus Mariota is going to show up. The real talented one or the one that's going to throw 5 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
You never know who's going to show up. If the good Mariota shows up, this team is a playoff team. If he doesn't, this team is going to be sucked.
I think it'll be. I think the South is going to be stacked in a row. So I think it'll go Jacksonville division winner, Texans grab the wild card, Titans are at 7-9, and I think the Colts, like I said, 6-10. So I don't see the Titans making the playoffs, but I still think it'll be the bottoms. I still think it'll be a close race. But like I said, I think Jacksonville runs away with it. But I could see the Titans, making the playoffs. I mean, I just don't think it'll happen, but they could. I wouldn't be shocked if it happens.
I wouldn't be shocked, but I mean, it's just like the Bengals. It all comes through the quarterback. Can the quarterback perform when they have to?
All right, let's talk about your favorite conference, the National Football Conference, NFC. So let's talk about the East. Let's talk about the Cowboys. What do you think about the Cowboys?
They're a good team. They got a great running back.
They got Prescott, Elliott, Gregory at end if he can stay out of trouble, Smith. So
I mean, the thing, this is another team.
Lee.
Luckily, they have Ezekiel Elliott, who's a freak from the Ohio State. But the thing they don't really have much at receiver, and so that could hurt them. And Dak Prescott he's not elite. So
right.
They're another team, just like I said about the Jags. Granted, they don't have that great of a defense, but they're like the Jags. You stop the running game, and they don't really have much going on. The only thing about this team is how do you stop Ezekiel Elliott? I don't think anyone knows.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It's going to be on Ezekiel Elliott's shoulders, so it all depends on how he plays. If he has he is due for a bad season, so who knows? I mean, they could be a 12-4 team. They could be an 8-8 team. It all really depends on Ezekiel Elliott being on the field.
Yeah, I think it'll be really important too because I don't know if you heard, Frank, but their backup Scarborough got hurt, so they could be very thin at running back. It really depends on Elliott even more now. If Scarborough stays hurt, for the season, and of course that makes Jackson their backup. But of course you can't forget about Tavon Austin at receiver.
Yeah, you can. He doesn't catch the ball.
And I think
the worst hands. How is he still playing receiver? He doesn't catch the football.
Williams and Gallup. So
he's more like a track star. He just runs around the field.
We'll see what happens. Like I said, I think they'll go. 8-8.
I think they'll probably go 8-8, 9-7, just because I don't think Ezekiel.
And I think they could slide in. I'm not going to pick them to playoffs, but I think they could. But I don't think they'll make it. I think they'll get just short. All right, I'm going to defer to you on the Giants, so go ahead.
So the New York Giants, another team, I mean, they have an outstanding receiving core. That defense is pretty good. I mean, they should never have gotten rid of Rodgers Cromartie, but I mean, what do you want? He didn't want to take a pay cut. They wanted to give him a pay cut. So that's going to be a hole, obviously, missing that corner. But that defense is pretty stout regardless, so you got that. The running game, the thing about Barkley, I mean, he looks great. On paper, they have a great offense. But Barkley, you see him in the preseason, he's got these big runs, and then he's got some that he hits a wall. So it's all on how he performs. Does the offensive line block from anybody else? Does the offensive line block for anybody? If the offensive line blocks, he's got a shot. Barkley, I don't know. This isn't the Big Ten. He's got to come out and he's got to play, and I hope he does. Eli Manning. Eli Manning is
old.
For the entire year that he is the weak link with the New York Giants. He's been it the whole time. So it's, can he play? I mean, I don't know how the hell you don't play well with Odell Beckham, Shepard, and their tight end. I mean, I don't know how you don't play well with these guys at receiving. But and even with Barkley, I mean, I think this team has the potential to obviously go 13-3 and win the division. But it all depends on the running back and the quarterback. Can they perform? And if they can't, I mean, this team's gonna falter like they did last year. But I have a feeling with Barkley, the tides are gonna turn and they have a good shot at the division.
All right, I'll just say a little bit since you pretty much hit everything on the head. I think that they will get in the playoffs as a wild card team. I don't think the Cowboys will, but I think that the Giants will. I'm not just saying that because they're your team. I really think so. You know, they're loaded. I mean, they got at receiver with Beckham and Barkley. Even though I think they'll lose their first game to Jacksonville. Sorry for saying Jacksonville 100th time already. But anyways, Manning, Barkley, Janoris Jenkins at corner. You know, Webb's even a solid backup, and so is Aletta. So we'll see what happens. I mean,
the thing about
Collins at safety, Shepard at receiver, Apple at corner. So
you know what bugs me about this NFL protest is you have people like Landon Collins and Janoris Jenkins kneeling, and
you know
you can't stop them from protesting, I guess, because I guess you can't.
They're an American,
but
freedom of speech, Frank.
Yeah, at work, you don't have freedom of speech at work. But anyway, the thing about
you can, yeah.
No,
but the team can do something about it, and your employer can do something about it. Right. But you can.
Well, anyway, when they do their protest, the worst part about it is they don't ever play well after they do it. And that annoys me. If you're going to be an asshole on the sidelines...
You know you're talking about your favorite team, right?
Perform well. That's why I'm talking about my favorite team. Because if you're going to be an asshole, you better back it up with good play. If you're going to be an asshole and not back it up, that's what got Colin Kaepernick
Tell me how you really feel.
And I just don't think that they should do that unless they guarantee they're going to play well.
Okay, well... Let's move on to the Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. You know, Wentz is healthy, I hope, anyways. Foles get hurt, so, you know, they could, we'll see what happens. But, you know, I think they're loaded again. They come back loaded, and I think they make the playoffs. And I could see them, I don't think they'll repeat, but I think they could make the conference championship game.
This is my least favorite team in the NFL.
Well, I would hope so as a Giants fan.
I gotta say, between them and the Redskins, just because I lived in D.C. for way too long. But how do you beat this Eagles team? I mean, they're pretty loaded. I mean,
got Sproles, Jenkins, Goddard at tight end.
Again, this team is gonna be up there, you know, at like 12-4, 10-6, 13-3. I mean, it doesn't. I don't know how you beat this team. Anyone know how you beat this team?
I don't know, but sure. I mean, of course, Sidney Jones at cornerback could be. They're saying that they could be their breakout star that people aren't really talking about. You know, so if they have a solid corner, I mean, watch out. You know, he played football at Washington when they were getting good. So we'll see what happens.
That conference doesn't play defense.
We'll see what happens with Jones. I'm hearing good things.
But the thing about the Eagles is I don't know how you beat them. I mean, honestly, I don't think they're one of those teams that you beat. I think they beat themselves. Something bad happens and things start falling apart.
Things happen?
I mean, that's the only way you beat them. I mean, because I think they beat themselves. I don't really think you beat them.
Well, let's talk about the Redskins, you know, who have been in the news, what their name and...
Alex Smith, man, and then they just got
Geis at running back.
Yeah,
he got hurt though. He got hurt.
They replaced him with Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, that's right.
Adrian Peterson.
Oh, I heard about that.
Has a lot to prove.
Yeah, they're thin as hell at running backs. I think two running backs. No, I heard Thompson. Didn't Thompson get hurt? I thought there was two running backs got hurt.
I think Thompson's still healthy. Now, you know, Thompson, and you got AP. I mean, this team is. And I think AP is kind of realizing that he's falling off, so he's willing to probably take more of a back seat. I think this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and he's got a lot to prove. So I think you're going to see a lot out of that running game. You got Alex Smith, a good game manager. The receiving core is questionable, but I mean, I think this team. This team's got some promise. This whole conference has a lot of promise. I think they're 10-16, 8-8, 10-16. I think almost every team in this division has a winning record at the end of the year. This is a dangerous.
I think they'll go 7-9. I think they'll falter at the end and not make the playoffs.
I think this whole division.
Maybe 6-10. I think they underachieve.
I have a feeling that you might see 3 teams from this conference make the playoffs. They have a dangerous conference.
I like the next conference we're going to talk about, the NFC West. Let's talk about the Cardinals. I like the Cardinals, actually.
Very interesting.
They're my sleeper team.
They're a very interesting team. I mean, you got Larry Fitz, you got David Johnson. Then you got obviously you got Patrick Peterson at corner. But if you haven't realized it recently, he's been slowing down. I think he's Sam Bradford. I think he's a pussy. I don't think he's that good. And he broke the record for completion percentage one year. But I mean, he's a paper man. He gets hit, he's out for the season. Josh Rosen at some point is going to have to come in and prove he can play. I don't know how he can play in the NFL after he called people that played Alabama stupid last year. So I don't know how that works. How that translates in the locker room.
You got Peterson at corner, Jones at
if he can make it work, because a lot of these people in the NFL went to Alabama. So if he can make it work, though, I mean,
Boston at safety, can't forget about him. I mean, so we'll see what happens.
This offense, this team's gonna live or die. I mean, you got obviously the secondary, but I mean, this team's gonna live or die on their offense, on the receiving core and David Johnson. And again, this team comes down to who's gonna throw the ball and how well.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it all depends on Rosen. Does he have that star quality about him? What do you think? You think he could become a star in the league?
I think he's got the talent to, but he's got a really shitty attitude, so I think that could hurt him.
Okay, well, let's talk about my pick to win. The division. I think they'll win the division. I really do.
I think this team.
Goff, Donald, the Rams. We're talking about the Rams.
This team. The thing about them is they're just like the Eagles. I don't know how you beat them.
Yeah.
I don't know how
you... Are they your division winner?
I think
or the Seahawks?
No. It's going to be the Rams. I picked to win the division. I mean, I don't know how you beat them unless they beat themselves. This team's probably going to go 14-2. 15-1. I mean, this team is just... They're stacked.
Yeah.
The only thing that could beat them is if they have... Because they're so stacked, they start getting mad at each other and start causing drama. That's the only way they lose. Because a lot of them haven't played together before. So that could cause some drama, and that could cause them to lose. But other than that, this team is pretty unstoppable.
All right, well, let's talk about the Niners.
I am sick of hearing about Jimmy Garoppolo.
Garoppolo, Sherman, McKinnon. No. They're saying Sherman, actually, they're saying, because he didn't have his own agent. What do you think about that? Sherman, when he signed, he did his own deal, and they were saying that he actually took less money than people thought he was worth. So what do you think about Sherman fitting in the Niners this year?
I mean, the 49ers have been obnoxious.
So you like Sherman?
I think Sherman's going to fit in well there.
His attitude.
Yeah. So. The thing about this team, though, is...
Of course, Foster's known as, controversial.
They're only going to be about a 6-10 team or so. Because everyone's like, Jimmy Garoppolo's never lost, blah, 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 this guy's outstanding. No, listen. Just like the Jacksonville Jaguars, no one had any thought that they were going to be any good. Just like Jimmy Garoppolo, no one had any thought he was going to be any good.
Right.
So they didn't prepare, and Jimmy Garoppolo, won 6 games in a row or something like that? Or 5 games in a row, and that's why he was successful. I mean, teams are going to be like, oh, look, this guy can throw, and he's not going to be, they're not going to be good. They're going to be like a 6-10 team. People are going to be like, oh, okay, we're going to actually play for this guy, and he's not going to beat us.
Yeah, so who's their starter? Is it at running back? Is it McKinnon or Williams? I think, is it McKinnon or Williams? I think it's McKinnon, right?
I'm not sure. They just gave their starting running back to the Browns.
Oh, yeah, and McKinnon got, but he got good. He got hurt, Frank, but they're saying he got good news on the MRI, so that's probably good. But they're saying he's out till week 1.
McKinnon's not a very good running back, so I mean, this team doesn't have anyone to run the ball.
Yeah,
so
Williams. You can't forget about Williams.
If this team, if Jimmy Garoppolo, if Garoppolo, can't. If he falters at all, this team is in the toilet.
Even though Williams may get hurt too, so we'll see. If they're depleted at running back, that could be their Achilles heel. See what I did there? Sorry, Achilles heel.
Yeah, I see that. But like I said, if Garoppolo falters, this team's in the toilet.
Yeah.
If Garoppolo falters at all, this team's probably looking at a first round draft.
You got Mullins at quarterback, so you know.
Yeah, I mean they're not a good team. I mean, if
Jimmy Beathard got hurt, they're having a lot of injuries this year.
If Garoppolo gets any faltering at all, this team is looking at
because Beathard's hurt. So I mean, they're back. They'd have to bring in Mullins, who's kind of unproven, out of Southern Miss. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I think that they'll. What's your pick with the Niners again?
If Garoppolo, I say 6-10 to 2-14 to 6-10.
I think they'll go 7. I think they'll go 7-9, and I think that they could be in the. I think it'll be kind of an underperforming division. But I think it'll be stacked though. Like I think it'll be bunched up. So
yeah.
But I like the division a lot. I just think they'll underperform.
I think the 49ers are in the toilet. Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle. This team is gonna probably be an 8-8 team. And why do I say that? Is because
you're still picking the Rams, right?
Right. The Rams are gonna win the conference.
Okay.
I mean the division. They might win the conference. But the thing about the Seahawks is a lot of the good players left, and the ones that are still there don't want to be there.
Thomas, Chancellor, Baldwin.
I mean,
they got Shaquem Griffin from my alma mater, UCF, the guy with the one arm thing.
Yeah.
But
and then they have Brandon Marshall, but he didn't get on good last year.
Lockett,
Doug Baldwin,
Sweezy at guard. So
I mean,
so we'll see what happens.
I mean, either Russell Wilson is going to have to play his butt off for this team to do anything. They don't got. I mean, Brandon Marshall's your top guy, and the dude's old as hell. I mean,
Flowers at corner, and of course Janikowski is still around at kicker.
Seabass.
So,
but
I thought he retired.
I thought he did too when he wasn't playing for Oakland anymore. I can't believe they got rid of him.
So,
but yeah, this team's in trouble. This team's probably looking at 7-9, 8-8. They're in trouble because, like I said, the people on their defense that didn't want to be there, a lot of them left.
Yeah.
And the ones that are still there don't want to be there. So
mm-hmm.
I mean,
I still think the good chance of them making the playoffs as the wild card team.
Nah, they're in trouble.
So,
I think the Cardinals and the Rams may be the only chance you have a wild card in this.
All right, well let's get to the Bears in the NFC South. So what do you think about the Bears?
The Bears.
They got Trubisky, White at receiver, Miller at receiver. They got a solid tight end in Miller. So
they have a good team on paper, and they can do it. And they're gonna have some upsets, but I still think they're an 8-8 team. I don't think they're I don't think they're ready to make that turn yet.
I just think they have a lot of average to below average quarterbacks.
I don't know.
And of course they got
pretty good.
They got Allen Robinson, who came over from Jacksonville, who signed that big deal.
Yeah,
he was the number one before he got hurt. So I think he's the key. I think if Robinson can return to form, his Pro Bowl form from a couple years ago, then I could see them having kind of a good year. I think it all depends on Robinson and of course Smith at linebacker.
I think they're gonna have a better year than the Bears have been used to.
So you see Robinson having a good year?
Allen Robinson, man, he's hurt. He was hurt.
Well, he was hurt last year, but they're saying he looks good in camp.
Well, you have to come back and prove it. I mean,
he did play in the last preseason game.
Oh, great!
So.
But the Bears. I mean, they need to. They need to get the gel. I mean, I think they're gonna have a better year than they're used to, but I don't think they're gonna be division champs or anything like that.
All right. Yeah, I agree. I don't think they'll. I think they could be a surprise wildcard team, but I think they'll come up short at 6-10. So what the Lions?
I love this team. I think they're the division champs this year.
The Lions with Stafford, Blunt at running back,
Golden Tate,
onside in,
Marvin Jones,
Abdullah at running back.
Oh my God! This team, honestly,
Slay at corner.
I'm getting a little bit of
Zinner at running back too.
Look how beautiful this team is.
Well, it's not tight end.
Yeah, Darius Slay.
I mean, still. Are they going to run 2 tight ends, Frank? I mean,
they might. I doubt it though because they love to throw the ball to Marvin Jones.
So I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean,
this team, and then
are they going to run Roberts out there with Wilson? I mean,
the coach is actually from Sherrill, New York, right?
Oh yeah.
And you've known someone from Central New York too, and you know that people from Central New York are obviously smarter than everybody else.
I mean,
if you haven't figured it out, so This team's gonna be good. This team's gonna be real good.
Yeah, they're saying Luke Wilson could be at tight end, could be, a sleeper Pro Bowl player. So we'll see what happens. I mean,
this team's good. This team's gonna go 11-5.
I think they'll make the wild card at 9-7.
I think they're gonna win the division.
I think they'll make the wild card.
They're gonna win the division.
Okay. Yeah, I think they're gonna. I think the Packers are next team we're gonna talk about.
Actually, I take that back. I take that back.
Packers or the Vikings will win the division.
I take that back. They're gonna probably get the wild card. I just rethought that they're gonna.
I think that this is my division. I think they could have 3 teams.
No.
I think the Lions, the Packers, the Vikings will all make the playoffs.
So the Packers.
So if I said that any of the other teams, I think they'll all fall short to the.
Let's look at the Packers.
Lions.
Let's look at the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the running back?
Is the Packers running back?
Exactly. Who's the receivers?
I think the receiver, they have Kumaro, Randall Cobb, Adams, St. Brown. So, running back, is it Aaron Jones?
This team is going to...
Yeah, Aaron Jones.
This team
is
going
running
to
back.
Maybe be 8-8, 9-7. I mean, they are depleted.
Aaron Jones,
They're depleted. This team is...
He's a solid player.
This team's going to miss the postseason. They're depleted.
I mean, they got Matthews at linebacker. Also Ryan. So...
I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a miracle worker, but I mean... He's probably the best quarterback in the NFL, but...
Oh, never mind. Ryan got hurt to season-ending injury. So they could be even depleted at linebacker.
This team has Aaron Rodgers, and he is... He's a great player, but I just don't know. This team is pretty awful. I don't know if they got what it takes to make the playoffs.
Like I said, I think they'll make the playoffs, and I think they'll be a wild card team.
But I think the Lions will make the playoffs, and I think obviously the Vikings will make they'll win the division.
All right, let's talk about the Vikings then, real quick.
They're gonna win the division.
Cousins at quarterback, Diggs,
that
Thielen.
Defense is stout. That receiving core is amazing. That running back room is good. Do you know what the worst part about this team is? Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm. I will say it right here because
Kirk Cousins is
I
literally
can say
the
this,
worst position on this team.
But Adam Thielen's the best white receiver in the league.
He may be. He's the biggest big play receiver.
Yeah.
Stephen Diggs is really good. Dalvin Cook is great. Latavius Murray is good. I mean...
you guys... Oh, is that where he is?
I mean, this team is...
Simeon? That's a pretty solid backup. You got Treadwell.
But Kirk Cousins, man...
Treadwell from South Carolina, I think, right? So...
Yeah, this team is good everywhere but Kirk Cousins.
Smith at safety?
Kirk Cousins might destroy this team. But other than that, this team is stout.
I think Harrison Smith's underrated. He's been a solid safety for his career.
I think them and the Lions and the Vikings battle it out real tough all year, and I think the Vikings win it at the end. I think they're probably going to go 13-3.
Yeah, I would actually agree with you on that. I think 13-3 sounds about right. All right, let's transition to the last division that we're going to talk about, the NFC South with Atlanta.
The Falcons, man.
Of course, you got Ryan and
the Falcons are a weird team because they can do it any
Jones,
time.
Freeman at running back, Ridley at receiver, Sanu.
They have
Coleman. They can do 2 running backs out there.
They have great running backs. They have a great quarterback. They have great receivers, and it just got better with Calvin Ridley. This defense. The thing about this defense is they have the fastest linebackers in the league, and that's something.
They're my division winner. I think they'll win the division.
I think you're probably right.
Let's see who they're against. Panthers, Saints, Bucks.
The Saints are pretty stout too.
Yeah, but I think the Falcons will pull it off.
The Panthers, they have Cam Newton.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. This team is pretty much.
Well, let's get to the Panthers. Cam Newton, Kuechly at linebacker. What do you mean that's it? Kuechly and you're just gonna throw in McCaffrey like that? He had a good year last year, and of course you got Olsen at tight end, Davis, who's been around for ever at linebacker.
It's not enough.
Anderson, Peppers.
It's not enough.
Bunches,
I mean, they're a good team, but it's just not enough.
Hood, so we'll see what happens.
It's Not enough.
I think that they'll. Yeah, I don't
They're
think.
gonna struggle.
Yeah, I think they could miss the playoffs, but I could see them also getting in as a wildcard team. If the Lions, I think the Lions will get it, but I think that the Panthers could get close to them.
If the Lions falter, I can see that.
So, but I'm still picking the Lions. Let's go to the Saints with Breeze.
Breeze, Breeze is old, but he's great. He's still good. And you know what? He doesn't have to do much anymore because they have
Taysom Hill too, also there. So we'll see what happens. I mean,
Alvin
Thomas.
Kamara. I tear up a little bit when I talk about this, but Alvin Kamara's just beautiful watching him on the field. He's just amazing.
Yeah, Ingram. Can't forget about Ingram.
You can, but I mean,
that was funny.
um,
Cameron Jordan at ends. Watson at tight ends.
but Alvin Kamara is just beautiful on the field.
Meredith.
That dude can play. The receiving cores are a bunch of no names, but it's okay because you have Drew Brees, and you don't really have to throw that ball that much because you have Kamara. You have the what's his name from Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, this team can play, and this defense is getting better, so that's something. I mean, this team is good.
Alrighty. Well, what do you think? What do you think about their playoff chances?
They almost went to the conference championship last year. It's gonna be a real tough battle between them and the Falcons for the division title.
I don't think they make it. I think they falter.
I think they're 1 or 2 in this division at the end. I think they're gonna play real hard with the Falcons.
I see them not making the playoffs. I think they'll go 7-9 or 8-8 and.
No, I don't.
Miss.
I don't at all. I think they're gonna really. It's gonna be real close.
I think it'll be one of the biggest choke jobs of the season.
No, I think the Falcons and the Saints are gonna play tough to the end.
Well, let's talk about the Buccaneers. Last but not least, your boy Jameis, right?
Jameis Winston's pretty good. Mike Evans is pretty. I mean, they got
Jones, McCoy.
They have the
Hargraves at corner. He's pretty solid out of Florida. So.
They have the talent.
Jacquizz Rodgers, Pierre-Paul, Brate. So, they look pretty solid.
They have the talent, but the thing is,
Fitzpatrick's on the team, so I mean that's a solid backup.
Can Jameis Winston keep his head on straight? That's the winner to break it for them. Can Jameis Winston keep his head on straight? And I don't know.
Yeah, I think they falter. I think they go 5-11.
This dude's head. He's a great player, but this dude's head's. Who knows where he is?
All right, Frank. So what do you want to do? You want to get to our How do you want to do this? You want to get to our conference championship games, and then we'll pick a Super Bowl winner, and then we'll call it a wrap. All right, and then do Sensible Cynical Thoughts. All right, my conference championship game for the American Football Conference is a repeat of last year. Jags, Patriots, and I think the Jags go to the Super Bowl. Are you surprised about that pick?
That a human being would say that out loud, probably.
I think the Jags go to the Super Bowl. I think they'll get revenge. It was a close game, and Miles Jack was not down. But anyways, I think they'll find a way. Like I said, like you were saying earlier, though, I actually agree. The one point I agree with you is that Bortles could be the wild card again. But I think that Fournette carries them literally and figuratively to the Super Bowl.
Last time they did that, he got really hurt.
So who's your AFC championship game?
Obviously the Steelers, and I think it's gonna be the Steelers Patriots.
Okay, and who do you got going to Super Bowl?
It's probably the Steelers.
Okay,
it's too good.
Let's go to the NFC. Who's your NFC championship game?
That's gonna be a hard one. There's too many good. I mean, the Rams got to be there, and it might be between the Giants and the Eagles. So I'd say I'm gonna pick the Giants, even though it's probably gonna be the Eagles. As a Giants fan, I'll give the Giants the benefit of the doubt and say the Giants Rams, and I think the Rams win. I think you got a Steelers Rams Super Bowl.
I think you got Vikings Rams. I think the Rams win, and I think it'll be Rams Jags. And I think that's gonna be a tough call. I'm actually probably gonna pick the Rams. I think the Jags fall at the end. Bortles throws some picks, and it surprises you that I'm going against them. But I think the Rams win the championship. Who's your champion? Who's your winner?
I think the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl too.
We actually have the same Super Bowl champion.
I think they're gonna.
Holy
win.
Shit!
If they keep together, the thing that could hurt them is too many all stars on one team getting in fights. But they're a deadly team.
All right, let's get to our Sensible Cynical thought.
My cynical thought: the commissioner Roger Goodell should be brought up on charges of homicide in the first degree and sentenced to life. He's killed this league. His new rules are garbage. I say no one should probably watch football this year. The helmet rule is garbage, and I think it's really destroyed the sport. And I think these new two leagues. There's a league coming out in the spring, a football league, and then next year the XFL is coming back out the year after that. So I think these leagues are gonna pretty much make the NFL into extinction if Roger Goodell stays at the helm.
Yeah, I think you saw my notes because I was also thinking cynical, and I also agree that I think the helmet rule is a farce, and I kind of see what they're saying. I kind of see what they're agreeing. I think they got a big lawsuit, and I do agree that there's a lot of concussions, and they feel like they had to do something, but I just feel like it was a little too much, a little too quick, and that's my cynical thought. But you know what? Like one of our previous guests, I'm going to pull a curveball. I'm also going to go sensible. I think that no. Also, I think I'm going to go both of them. I think the sensible thought is that it's good that there's parity in the league. I think that for the first time in a while, I think that, like I said earlier, I think the Patriots aren't a guarantee anymore. And I think that it could be wide open as it's been in a long time. And I think that's actually good for the league. So I'm going to do both, sensible and cynical. You got any other thoughts before we close the show?
I agree the Patriots aren't the favorite in the league. I don't know if it's good for the league. Because I think the league did so much damage with all the rules. I don't think it really matters who wins or loses anymore.
Okay, subscribe, rate, review us on iTunes. Thanks for listening.